Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast with Dan Casper.
Third quarter grades for the Pack. We're using this as the line, as the cutoff line for that third quarter for the Packers season. Just because coming off the Thanksgiving Day game, a little bit of like a mini bye-ish week, and looking at these final 5 games, it kind of works out that way. So that's why I know mathematically it's not even, but we're using this as that line. So when we look at the last 3 weeks of this, last 4 games for this Packers team, 3-1 record, lost to the Phillies. Guys, I still got baseball in my mind. I was doing it yesterday with hockey, for crying out loud. I think I just want the hot stove season to really kick up. But the Eagles lost to the Eagles 10-7, win against the Giants 27-20, win against the Vikings, win against the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. How would you grade this team? And I'm going to do team. I'll do some players, and I'll do some. I'll do coaches over here too. Let's start with the quarterback, Jordan Love. Toyotathon, Jordan Love. And again, it's not from this entire season. We are just looking at the last 4 games. So if we start with that Philly game, if you're just looking at it from a numbers, stats perspective, 20-36, buck 76. Giants, he was 13-24 for 174, 2 tuds, no interceptions. We've got the Vikings 14-21, 139 for no touchdown. Did he have? Yeah. And then Detroit, obviously 18-3. He's probably got a really good chance, actually, to win the NFC Offensive Player of the Week this week. 234 and 4 touchdowns. If you're looking at quarterback ratings, 68.8 against Philadelphia, 105.2 against the Giants, 85.2 against Minnesota, 124.2 against the Lions. I would say my grade for Jordan Love during that stretch, I'm going to go B. Maybe like a B+. Because I don't think we can just sit there and even though I just went through those stats and numbers, I don't think we could just use those as a straight-up measuring stick as a box score scouting. I don't think that's fair, because what Jordan Love, I think, has and this has obviously been a hot topic for all season long amongst Packers fans, and I don't really want to rehash what the topic from last week and such on a Grind My Gears Tuesday and just kind of going back and forth in that. But I mean, even if you look at like Pro Football Focus grades, I saw this the other day. Was it yesterday? I think quarterback Pro Football Focus grading and efficiency. Pro Football Focus offensive grades and expected points added EPA per play. Jordan Love tops. So, I mean, you look at some of the advanced numbers, the advanced statistics, Jordan Love, first in EPA. I mean, so he's really putting together a very solid, very good, I don't want to say solid, but a very good season that I think even some fans are just like, not ready to give him flowers. And Okay, that's fine. But I know we're kind of looking at the overall season and such, but the last 4 games, I probably got to give him a B+. He's been playing some really good football, some solid football. Some other players off. I think, we look at, let's do Christian Watson. I want to do Christian Watson because I think he has had a very solid impact on this ball club since he's returned to the lineup. And his first game was against Pittsburgh. But if we look at Philadelphia, the Giants, Minnesota, and Detroit, and again, if you look at it like, 45 yards, 46 yards, 49 yards, 80 yards. He's got 3 touchdowns so far this season. But he has been the closest thing to a number 1 wide receiver for this team so far this year. He, to me, is the go-to guy. He, to me, is the big play guy in the passing game for Green Bay. His return has been a big boost for this group. It may not show up, stat-wise and in such. But again, if you're watching these games and you're watching every single snap of these games, you know the impact that Christian Watson has had on this ball club. So I'm going to go B+ for Christian Watson. He has affected this team. He has been a solid contributor to this team. Is he blowing out, stat sheets, numbers, and, 100-yard games and that? No, he's not. But again, I don't think you could just sit there and box score scout it. He has been a big boost since returning to the lineup for this ball club. And a much-needed boost, too, especially with Tucker Kraft being done for the rest of the season. Some other players that I'm not going to go through every single player, but some other players. Micah Parsons. We're going to talk some more Micah Parsons here in just a little bit. But I mean, Micah Parsons, if you want to look at what he's kind of done for these last 4 weeks. Again, I'll just kind of give you some numbers here. If we go back to Philly. He didn't have a sack, but since Giants 1.5, Minnesota 2, Detroit 2.5. I mean, I give the guy an A. You talk about the impact that he's had. Again, numbers are great, but you watch the snaps, you watch the plays, constantly getting double teamed. Nobody else gets double teamed more than Micah Parsons. The guy still gets after the quarterback. He beats these double teams. Hell, he's sometimes getting triple teamed. He has an insane effect on game plans, on offensive game plans. This is what we were hoping for. This is what the expectation was, bringing in a guy like Micah Parsons to be the closer, too, in a lot of these situations. The Mariano Rivera. You get to the fourth quarter, you have a lead, you unleash Micah Parsons even more. And that's where Micah Parsons has really shined. Is late in these ball games. Shutting it down. Closing it. You got to give the guy an A. He has been remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. You're talking, 6 sacks in these last 4 weeks? 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Absolute A. Absolute A. I'm going to go, I'll throw a little Carrington Valentine into this too, because I think we look at these last 4 weeks and such and kind of look at him. I'm probably going, I mean, that lazy tackle against Jameson Williams in that Thanksgiving Day game, probably that was, I'll just say what it is. It was pathetic. I mean, you have a chance to blow up that play and it results into a touchdown, for crying out loud. So that was a pathetic attempt. But overall, I'm probably a B- for Carrington Valentine. I think he's probably the number 1 corner on this team. I trust him more than any other corner at this point in time. Is he a number 1 corner across the league? No, he's not to that level. But on this ball club, on this particular ball club, I think he is a number 1 corner. And I think he's had solid play too. Yeah, that was a weak attempt at a tackle. Wrap the guy up, man. If you wrap that guy up, especially the speedy guy, that's a loss. But he's had more good plays than poor plays. So I gotta give the guy about about a B minus so far. If we look at units defensively, I'm probably at, again, these are just the 4 games. Defense kept them in the game in that Philly game. They did what they were supposed to do. So I got to give them high marks on that. Giants, I mean, they had the opening drive and such. You're talking about open middle of the field, too many third down conversions in that Giants game. Minnesota, I mean, they just, again, they did what they were supposed to do, absolutely dominate against a struggling young quarterback in J.J. McCarthy. They went after him. Even Detroit, I mean, yeah, Jared Goff was, 20 to 25, 20 to 26, but they were able to get after him in sack situations, kind of going back and forth a little bit there. Tit for tat offense. Packers would score, they'd jump out to a lead, then the Lions would inch closer, but then the Packers offense would jump out and such. So defensively, I'm probably at but they really limited Jahmyr Gibbs in that Detroit game, which I think was a big boost. They did struggle against Jameson Williams. B plus, A minus defensively. Offensively, as a unit grade, I'm probably gonna go C plus, C plus, because Philly, that was bad. That was bad. Minnesota, offensively they did what and I get it. They changed their offensive approach as the game went on and the defense was just dominating. Giants, I felt like they still left a lot out on the field. I mean, you still had some drop issues. Detroit, though, that game offensively was better. So maybe C plus, B minus. Again, just from these four weeks, I would say it's trending upward, ticking up a little bit. And I think with the return of Jaden Reed, it's going to continue to get better. Jeff Hafley, his grade, I mean, I got to go B plus, A minus. His game plans, he's calling some great games. I think they got to figure out consistently the communication, middle of the field, passing, whether that's, safety, linebackers, the handoffs and these zone coverages. They got to clean that crap up. I mean, that sometimes that rears its ugly head, and oh boy, do teams take advantage of it. Detroit's a really good team that took advantage of it. Obviously, the Giants took advantage of it too. That's stuff that they got to clean up, especially when they get to the postseason. But overall, I like the aggressiveness that we have seen from some of his play calling. So yeah, B plus, A minus. Matt LaFleur, I'm combining him as a head coach and then the offensive play calling here. I'm probably at C plus for LaFleur. The Detroit game moved it up. Because that was, I don't know. I know a lot of people are saying that was the best game by Matt LaFleur in terms of a play caller and approach and as a head coach in that. I want to give it a little bit yet. Let the recency bias kind of settle down. But I understand why people thought that because of his aggressiveness and his decision making and such that he threw out there. So I get that. I understand that. And that was definitely a big boost. I would say C plus, but arrow is going in the right direction for the upcoming fourth quarter. Because I think there's still some apprehension from some people like, okay, that's what we wanted to see against Detroit. But is that going to continue? Is that style going to continue for the next 5 weeks? So, like, if I was a teacher and I'm handing out my final grade, I'll be like, okay, it's C plus. But hey, keep it up. Keep going this way. If you continue this path, it's going to go higher. Overall team, I'm probably at a B. I'm probably there. I mean, you're 3-1. You probably should have beat Philadelphia. way that game went at home, yeah, you probably should have came away with a victory with that. But overall, 3-4. You're undefeated in the division so far. You picked up 2 more wins in the division. You swept the Lions. I've got to go. I got to go a solid B right now for Green Bay. But they really, I mean, looking at the final quarter here, and you look at that schedule, boy, they could really pipe it up to an A if they wanted to. So, I mean, they've got that chance. 2 games against Chicago to knock them out. You got Denver, you got Baltimore, and then you kind of wrap it up with Minnesota there. But I'm probably at a solid B team-wise. C-Bomb's got some grades here. Offense C+. Offense is doing good enough to win, but far too inconsistent to win the playoffs. We're going to need a much better showing than what we saw against the Eagles. We'll need more of what we saw against the Lions. Defense B+, 6th in scoring defense and 4th in yards allowed. This defense will win a Super Bowl. If the offense can get consistency, they did enough in the loss this quarter to win that game against the Eagles. Gotcha. Coaching B, Matt LaFleur seems to be righting the ship. The team has played with more discipline the last 4 games and 3-1 record as a result. Hafley has been excellent. Special teams B, kicking game has been getting better. Now that 17 is getting healthy, the release of Haversick tells me that they saw in practice who really needs to be the kicker. Overall B, ultimately it comes down to wins and losses. 3 out of 4 is 75%. This should be a C for a grade if we are taking a test, but we'll give a B based on improvement seen in the third quarter of the season. You know, special teams I think is a good. I want to give another A out. Daniel Whelan. Okay, I know you don't really talk a whole lot about punters, but that guy, the job he has done this year and the progression of his career, you want to talk about a dude who has got a powerful leg. And really when we get later in the season, right, cold and, you know, maybe some windy weather, that guy has been awesome. Let's give some love to the punters here. Daniel Whelan is awesome. When you got to flip the field, he can flip the field for you. Not only just booming that thing, but gives you hang time with it too. So I want to give a little love to Daniel. We talk a lot about special teams and, you know, at points, the kicking situation, the penalties. The one thing I will say, you open up a game and you kick it off or you're getting the ball. Why are we getting still a penalty? It feels like we did it in Detroit. I'm not going to sit here and say it's every game because I don't know if it's every game. It just feels like it's a lot. Come on. How are we opening up the game with a penalty right away on special teams? Got to stop that. But Daniel Whelan, you want to talk about Mr. Consistency and such? The only knock we could probably give him is laces out, Dan, on the one kick. But from a punting standpoint, dude has been awesome. Absolutely awesome. So, Micah Parsons. It's between him and Myles Garrett. That's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year. And, I mean, Myles Garrett is just kind of a wrecking machine. I mean, that dude is just, you talk about two of the best pass rushers in this league. Myles Garrett's got 19 sacks on the season, okay? This guy is absolutely remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. And there's no question, Micah Parsons has been absolutely great this year too, but what Myles Garrett is doing this year, I mean, there's a chance he might break that sack record. We'll see how it all kind of plays out here. But it totally makes sense why both these guys are top 2 in Defensive Player of the Year odds. But from Micah's standpoint, when you look at what he has done this year, has he kind of met? Let's be real. I mean, you throw in 2 first-round picks and Kenny Clark, and then you sign him to that massive deal, expectations are going to be high, right? I mean, they got to be. Has he met or has he exceeded those expectations? I'll be honest. I think for me, a little exceeded. Just a scotch. He's definitely met them, but I'll even throw in he's exceeded them a little bit for me too, because what's impressed me the most is the guy, it doesn't matter if he's getting double teamed. He is still getting after the quarterback. He is still affecting games. Offenses know who they have to stop, yet they can't stop that guy. So numbers-wise, sack-wise, yeah, he's meeting it. And honestly, he's probably going to set a career high. The most sacks that he has had in a single season are 14. That was back in 2023. And he's on pace to break that. But the way he is just affecting these games, it's like double team don't matter. Bull rush, speed, he's getting after you. The speed from this guy is just mind-boggling. How he can just run down a bunch of dudes. I mean, you know, the fact that Jahmyr Gibbs got by him and everybody's making a big deal about it on that one play on Thanksgiving kind of tells you about the closing speed of this guy. And speaking of closing, I mean, we want these guys, these pass rushers, these defensive players to really stand out in the fourth quarter, to make their impact in the fourth quarter, right? And that's what you're seeing from Micah Parsons. So, honestly, I feel like he's kind of exceeded it just a little bit. Not like, whoa, I wasn't expecting this. Yeah, I'm expecting those sack numbers and such. But the way he has been going about it, the way he's had to battle through some of these double teams and such. And like C-Bomb had said a little bit earlier, what, you know, all the talk about Micah Parsons was, you know, in the offseason, minicamp was his back. And even before the season started for the Packers, there was talk about back issues and he was going to have to take, you know, pain injections to play. And like C-Bomb said, you haven't heard anything about it now. So I don't know if he is or not. I know he wasn't at the beginning. I don't know if that's still the case. But the guy has just been absolutely dominant. So I would argue he's kind of, I get why you're getting Reggie White comparisons. I mean, he's doing stuff similar to Reggie White. I mean, to compare him to one of the NFL's greatest players of all time, arguably a top 10 player of all time is, I mean, that's high praise. But you get it. You understand it. He's, I mean, the second player since 1982 to hit 10.5 sacks in each of his first 5 seasons. 10 or more sacks in each of his 5 seasons. Reggie White was the other one. I mean, anybody who's old enough to remember watching White suit up for Green Bay or even Philly, you get it. You're like, yeah. And I think all of us Packers fans we're hoping it turns out to be another Reggie White type of feeling where it lands a Super Bowl. It, you know, maybe right now Micah Parsons is on a Hall of Fame path. There's no question about it. He's only 26 years old. But man, think about this too. It's like you go back in Packers history. Ron Wolf, he got Reggie White. Ted Thompson, he got Charles Woodson. Goody, Micah Parsons. Those are defensive players. Ron Wolf got Brett Favre. Ted Thompson got Aaron Rodgers. Not ready to put Jordan Love in there yet, but man, you want to talk about legacies for general managers too for the Packers. Right now, it's not too bad. Games with at least 2 sacks by a player in their first 5 seasons, too. Micah Parsons is up there. Reggie White's got the most, 24. J.J. Watt, 21. Richard Dent, 19. Micah Parsons, 18.